Good morning. Good morning. Greetings from BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. This is the fourth module on the topic discrete Fourier transform. In the previous module, we had seen the properties of discrete Fourier transform. Today, we are going to see an efficient method of computing the DFT. And because it is efficient in computing, the computational complexity is reduced, but we are actually performing the DFT. This is known as the fast Fourier transform. So the fast Fourier transform just computes the DFT, but it does it in an efficient manner. And how is the efficiency measured? The efficiency is measured in terms of the number of multipliers. Since the number of multipliers are going to be reduced, we call this as a fast Fourier transform. And we shall focus on length of n, the n-point DFT, where n is going to be a power of 2. When n is a power of 2, this method is applicable. Of course, other algorithms exist when n is not a power of 2. Now, when n is a power of 2, once again we have two types. One is the decimation in time FFT algorithm, and the other is the decimation in frequency. One is the decimation in frequency FFT algorithm, and another is the decimation in time FFT algorithm. Now, what happens here is the input to the algorithm is not in sequence, or the output in the algorithm is not in sequence. So if I have a block which does computing the DFT. Now, if this block if suppose it's computing the DFT using a DIT method, then my input is not in sequence. Input is not in sequence, whereas the output is in sequence. Output is in sequence. So output is going to be x0, x1, x2, x3, etc. But the input is not in sequence. Then the algorithm is known as the DIT FFT algorithm. On the other hand, if my input is in sequence, I write DFT only because I'm going to compute the DFT. My input is in sequence, is in order, but the output is not in order. Output is in a different order, not in order. If it's going to be in a different order, then we call this as a decimation in frequency, because my output is not in a normal sequence, not in a running sequence. So essentially what we say is, if input is not in order, the output is going to be in a normal sequence, or the other way. If input is in order, the output is not going to be in order. So we cannot have the input and output both in order for any algorithm. So today we shall take up the decimation in time FFT algorithm. Today we'll take up the decimation in time FFT algorithm. So my input to the algorithm is not in sequence, output is going to be in sequence. So let's consider, to start off, let's consider n is an even function. Let's consider n is an even. Later on, we will move from being an even to a power of n. So let's consider n is even. So what we know is, if I have a sequence say we have a sequence x of n, and it has a discrete Fourier transform x of k. And we know that this x of k is given by sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 x of n e to the power of minus j 2 pi nk by n. This is by definition the expression for the discrete Fourier transform. Now what I will do is, given the sequence xn, I am going to split it into two sequences. Let me consider my sequence x of n, say given by x0, x1, x1, x2, x3, and so on up to x of n minus 1. So this is what I have my input. This I'm going to split it as two sequences. One contains all the even terms, x even of n. So this is going to contain x0, x2, x4, x6, and so on up to x of n minus 2. While I consider another sequence, the remaining terms, the odd terms, which are given by x1, x3, x5, and so on up to x of n minus 1. So I am going to split my input into an even terms and odd terms. So now what I have is, so the same above summation now becomes my x of k. I can write it as two summations. So I sum it over n such that it has all the even terms and e to the power of minus j 2 pi nk by n plus sigma. Sorry, first let's say the even terms and next say the odd terms. The odd terms and e to the power of minus j 2 pi nk by n. So my n is going now 0, 2, 4, 6, etc. Whereas here my n takes odd terms 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. So I have it, but I'm splitting the single summation into two. So I've not done any changes other than making the single summation into two sums. One having even terms, the other having odd terms. So now what I will do is, instead of running it as even terms, let me make this change. I have my x of k, and that is I will now say run it as n going from say 0 to n by 2 minus 1. So I'm running only for half the length, and this is my x even of n, where already I am taking the sums. The x even of n goes from x0, x2, x4, etc. And in which case I will now have my e power minus j 2 pi. Instead of n, I'm going to have 2n because I'm taking all the even terms. So my n is now going to be 2n k by n plus sigma. Now n going from 0 to again all odd terms. I'm considering odd terms, and this is my sequence of x0 of n, wherein my n is all odd. And now here I have to replace my 2 pi n. N is now going to become 2n plus 1 because I'm taking odd terms k by n. So now next what I do is, I have the summation n equal to 0 to say n by 2 minus 1 x even of n e to the power of minus j 2 pi n k by, instead of having 2n, I will make my denominator as n by 2. So I have not done anything. I have taken the 2 and brought it down here. N by 2 plus this term. This term is now sigma n equal to 0 to again n by 2 minus 1 x0 of n e to the power of minus j 2 pi. I have this term 2n, so this I will take it again nk divided by n by 2, and I have a term that is remaining, and the term that is remaining can be recognized as e to the power of minus j 2 pi k by n. So I have this term that was remaining. The other term is taken care of here. Now it's very interesting to observe this summation. This entire summation can be recognized as the n by 2 point DFT of x even of n. Similarly, the other summation, this summation can be recognized as the n by 2 point DFT of x odd of n. So now we have the result that x even of the n by 2 point DFT of x even of k plus e to the power of minus j 2 pi k by n and x odd of k. That's it. So this is my result. This is my important result, wherein I am converting my endpoint DFT. If I am having an endpoint DFT, I am converting it into a summation, suitable summation of two n by 2 point DFTs. Point DFT. For example, suppose I have say n as say 10. If I have n as 10, a normal computation of an endpoint DFT, I need to create a matrix. My matrix is going to be of size 10 by 10. So I have 100. My complexity is approximately 100 multiplications in computing an endpoint DFT. Instead of computing an endpoint DFT, I can do as two 5-point DFTs. And what's the complexity of a 5-point DFT? 5 cross 5. 5 5s are 25. And how many? 2. 2 5 5s are 25. So 225. So that is 50. So by using this expression, I am able to reduce an n-point DFT to the complexity of 2 n by 2 point DFT. So my complexity is reduced by half. Proceeding similarly, I can again reduce my n by 2 into say n by 4, n by 8, etc. And that's how this whole algorithm is built. So let us now try to understand this expression that we have got. Let's try to understand this expression by taking a value of n. Just to let us try to understand this result that we have got. So this is what we have. So for example, let's take an example. Let us say n equal to 4, just for simplicity and for convenience. Then what happens to my x of n? My x of n is going to have 4 terms: x0, x1, x2, and x3. And my x even of n is going to have 2 terms, the even terms, x0, x2. And whereas my odd terms again are going to be 2 of them, and that is going to be x1 and x3. And what is the 2-point DFT? We have seen how to compute a 2-point DFT. Let us say the 2-point DFT of x even of n is x even of k. X even of k, and we know the result. What is the result? It is just x0 plus x2 and x0 minus x2. We have seen how to compute a 2-point DFT. And similarly, say x odd of n, the odd terms, has say x odd of k, has a 2-point DFT. And what is the 2-point DFT of the odd terms? This is going to be x1 plus x3 and x1 minus x3. So we are given these. So we have computed the 2-point DFT of x1 of k. We have computed the 2-point DFT of x naught of k. And using this expression, we will be able to get the 4-point DFT of the given sequence. We'll be able to get the 4-point DFT of the sequence, and let us see how that happens. So let's once again get this. So, and try to compute. So let us put, so now from this 2-point DFT, I need to get the result of a 4-point DFT. So put k equal to 0. When I put k equal to 0, what do we get? X of 0 equal to xe of 0 plus e to the power of j0, because k is 0, x0 of k. Or how much is that? This is nothing but xe of 0 plus x0 of k. Oh, k is 0, so x0 of 0. So by this I get the value for first value. Next, let me put k equal to 1. Let us put k equal to 1 in the above expression. And what does that give me? X of 1. The 4-point DFT is given by xe of 1 plus e to the power of minus j 2 pi k. K is 1 and n is 4. So 2 pi by 4 x0 of 1. And how much is that? Xe of 1 plus e power minus j 2 pi by 4. We know that it is e power minus j pi by 2, which is minus j, and x0 of 1. Next, let me put k equal to 1. Let us put k equal to 1. I mean k equal to 2 to get x of 2. And how much is that? Xe of 2 plus e to the power of minus j 2 pi. K is 2. So 2 pi 2 by 4 x0 of 2. Now, what is xe of 2? We know it's a 2-point DFT because you have taken n equal to 4 and it is periodic with period 2. So xe of 2 is same as xe of 0 plus, and e power minus j pi 4 by 4. So e power minus j pi is a minus 1. And once again, x0 of 2 is also same as x0 of 0 because it's a 2-point DFT in this case, and then it is periodic with period 2. Next, to get the next term, put k equal to 3, and then what we get is xe of 3 plus e to the power of minus j 2 pi 3 by 4 and x0 of 3. That gives it. Once again, x0 of 3 is mod 2. So this is same as x0 of 1 plus e power minus j 2 pi 3 by 4. How much is that? E power j 6 pi by 4, which is same as e power j plus j pi by 2. So this is going to be a plus j and x0 of 1. So now finally we are having 4 results. So what we have is, if I try to write my results, I am having x0 is equal to xe of 0, I mean x0 plus x odd of 0 as one equation. Next I have x of 1, and that is given by xe of 1 plus minus j into into x odd of 1, and then I have my x of 2 is given by x even of 0 minus x odd of 0, and x of 3 is equal to x odd of 1 plus j into x odd of 1. So what we have is, I have only two x0, xe of 0, xe of 1, and x odd of 0 and x odd of 1, and from this I am able to get my 4-point DFT. So this, though it is easy to remember, it becomes convenient to represent in a graphical form. So let us say I have my x0 and x2, my two-point DFTs, and say I compute it, and what I get my output as, this I get it as say x0 plus x2. This is going to be x0 minus x2. Similarly, I take the odd terms. And have x1 and x3, and this is going to be x1 plus x3, and this is my 2-point DFT. This is x1 minus x3, and this is nothing but, this is my x0, x even of 0. This is my x even of 1. This is what we have. Similarly, this is going to be, this we recognize it as x odd of 0, and this is recognized as x odd of 1. Now I'm having the four terms, x0, x even of 0 and 1, x odd of 0 and 1, and from this I need to get my 4-point DFT. So what I do, I convert I look at my expression here. What's my x0? x0 is xe of 0 plus x0 of 0. So I have to add them. So I need to add this and this, and what I will get is x of 0. And similarly, when I subtract, if I look at x3, x2 is this minus this, and then I get it as, I get an x3. Now how is my second term? My second term is, say k equal to 1, xe of 1 minus j into this. So I using those two terms, I am able to get, I'm using xe of 1 and these two, and with the multiplication factor of minus j, I get my x of 2. This is x of 1. I'm sorry, this should have been x of, this is x of 2. This is x of 2. This is x of 2. And this is my my x of, this is my x of 3. This is my x of 3. So what we find, and how are they connected? What is x of 1? xe of 1 minus j into this, whereas x3 is xe of 1 plus j into this. So now here we use a notation wherein, suppose I am given two input values, and say I have a branch gain, say W, and let us say this is my A and this is B. And how do I compute the output of the node? This is given by A plus WB. This is the notation I use. And here this is given by A minus WB. So I use this notation and I compute it. So now let's, this is how we compute. And so what we find is we are getting a 4-point DFT by computing the 2-point DFT of the two sequences. So let's take an example which we have already seen and we are familiar with the result. So let's take an example. Let's take an example of say xn given by 4, 3, 2, 1. And in which case here my even terms of n becomes 4 and 2, whereas my odd terms are going to become, in this case, it is going to be 3 and 1. So what is my first step? My first step becomes to have a 2-point DFT. So let's first draw the whole diagram. So my first stage is going to involve a 2-point computation of a 2-point DFT of x0 and x2, and similarly computing a 2-point DFT of the odd terms, let us say x1 and x3, x1 and x3. And this is going to give me some result. And similarly, I have a result, the 2-point DFT of my even terms. And this is my odd terms. And then from this result, I need to get the result of the 4-point DFT, and which is going to be, I take this term and this term, and I get my x of 0. And this is going to be my x of 1, 2. And here I combine these two. And using these two, I get my x of 1. And I get my x of 3. But here the branch gain is minus j. Whereas all these have a branch gain of 0. Or this has a branch gain of, branch gain of 1, e power j0, e power j0. So this also has a branch gain of e power j0. So that is a 1. So now in our example, what is xe of 0? 4 and 2. So I have my input this given by 4 plus 2, I have a 6. I have a 6. 4 minus 2, I have a 2. 3 plus 1 is a 4. And 3 minus 1 is a 2. So now let me compute x of 0. How do I get x of 0? I have to take this orange, this path. So 6 plus 4, that's a 10. And the other is 6 minus 4, that is a 2. Next, I have this blue color computation. So x of 1. What is x of 1? 2 plus 2 into minus j. That becomes 2 minus 2j. And how about here? 2 plus, 2 plus, rather 2 minus 2 into minus j. So 2 minus 2 into minus j, so that becomes 2 plus 2j. How do we get that? Because we have used this, the branch computation, and so we have the final result, the final 4-point DFT of the sequence, the 4-point DFT of the sequence given by x of k is given by 10, 2 minus 2j, 2, 2 plus 2j. So this is a result we have seen a large number of times. So this we find is definitely easier than having a 4 cross 4 matrix. We write in the branch and then multiply, we get the same result. So we see the ease, and so it's so simple. Any sequence, given any sequence, I can compute a 4-point DFT using this manner. Similarly, if I am given an 8-point DFT, let us see how to get the result. So essentially, our reasoning reduces to only implementing one sequence, and for graphical representation of this computation, we use this notation. A and B are my input, with the upward branch having a gain of W. So the upper output is A plus WB, the lower output is A minus WB. So this is one concept that we need to remember. And let us take another case of a larger n. Let us say we want to take n equal to say 8. So once again, all my decimation in time FFT algorithm is based only on this single equation, so which we have just derived. So xe of x of k is the even point n by 2 point DFT of the even sequence and the odd sequence. So let's take another example. So let's consider, say we want to take n as 8. Say n equal to 8. So what happens if n equal to 8? My input sequence x0, my input sequence xn, my sequence xn is now going to have the terms x0, x1, and so on up to x of 7. x7. And then my even terms. Even terms are going to be x even of n, and that is going to be x0, x2, x4, and x6. And how about my odd terms? The odd terms are going to be x1, x3, x5, and x7. Now, one possibility is to compute the 4-point DFT of the even sequence, compute the 4-point DFT of the odd sequence, and then combine them into the 8-point DFT. So otherwise, since this is a 4-point DFT, I can split each of them into smaller sequences of 2 each. So once again, I take my x even of n and I split it. Let us say I split. So this is my even and this is my odd sequence. This is my odd sequence. What I do is this even again I split it into further smaller sequence. So I call it as say even. So this is going to be x0, x4. So and then other is going to be x2 and x6. So instead of computing the 4-point DFT of the even terms, I'm going to compute it a suitable 2-point DFT. Again, I need to take the even and odd terms of that small sequence. Similarly, I need to take the even and odd terms of this sequence, and so this I can split it as x1. So x1, x5 as one set, and other set is x3 and x7. So what does it reduce now? If I draw it in a simpler manner, I need to compute. What we have is I can compute a 2-point DFT. I can compute a 2-point DFT. And how many 2-point DFTs do we have? We have 4 2-point DFTs. So I have a 2-point DFT. I have another 2-point DFT. I have a 2-point DFT and a 2-point DFT. And what is my input to the first 2-point DFT? It was x0, x4, x2, and x6. And here it is x1, x3, x5, and x7. So these are my inputs. This is how my the input to the 2-point DFT. See x0, x4, x2, x6, x1, x5, x3, x7. So I need to compute the 2-point DFT of this. So each is going to be a 2-point DFT. And once I compute the 2-point DFT, we know to combine them. We have just now seen this can be combined. These outputs can then be combined, and then I can get a 4-point DFT. I get a 4-point DFT. And similarly, these can be combined, and then I get another 4-point DFT. So this is going to give me my x even of k, and this is going to give me my x odd of k. And these 4-point DFTs can now be combined using that equation that we have just now seen. And how do we combine them? The first from the odd, the first from the even, they both are combined, and then I am going to get x of 0 and x of 5 or 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, x of 4. Next, the second and the second, they are going to be combined. And let's look at the expression. When k equal to 1, what is my branch gain going to be? E power minus j 2 pi 1 by 8, because I'm taking n as 8. So e power minus j pi to e power minus j 2 pi 1 by 8, which we have used the notation gamma e power minus j 2 pi by 8. So this is going to have a branch gain of gamma, and which we know is equal to 0.707 minus j 0.707, because my n equal to 8. The next, how do I get the next one? I take the third one from here. I get the third and the third, and this is going to have k equal to 2. So e power minus, so which is nothing but gamma square. And what I'm going to get when I compute that, I am going to get x2 and x6. Similarly, in the previous case, I would have got x of 1 and x of 5. And next, I take the fourth term in my first n by 2 point DFT, and the fourth term in my second n by 2 point DFT. Now here my k is going to be 3. So my branch gain is gamma cube, and here I will get, when I compute it, I am going to get x3, and this is going to give me my x of 7. And we know the values of gamma square. What is gamma square? We know that gamma square is nothing but e to the power of minus j 2 pi 2 by 8, which is nothing but e power minus j pi by 2, which is nothing but minus j. And similarly, gamma cube. What is gamma cube? Gamma cube is going to be e to the power of minus j 2 pi 3 by 8, which is going to be minus 0.707 minus 0.707 j. Sorry, this should have been a plus. This gamma is a plus. Gamma is a plus, whereas gamma square is a minus j, and gamma cube is a this. We know that circle where our gammas are located on the unit circle. So this is what we have. Now let us try to draw the same diagram for the other two stages as well, so that the figure is complete. So this is what we have. So now instead of drawing my 2-point DFT, let me draw the 2-point DFT of each of them, and then I will replace everywhere by suitable. So I have a 2-point DFT in the first stage. So this becomes a 2-point DFT, and say this is another 2-point DFT, and I have one more 2-point DFT, and I have another 2 points. So 4 2-point DFTs in my stage 1, and each gives an output. And in the stage 2, I have 2 4-point DFTs. So now let us see. Let us try to complete the diagram. So this is my first stage where I can get my 2-point DFTs, and here I have my these are the 4 terms. So these have to be combined, and I get my first stage of 4-point DFT. So how do I combine them? The first term from each of these stages is combined, and similarly the second term from each of these stages are combined, and this we know has a branch gain of -j. And similarly here, the first term and the first term are combined. They have a branch gain of 1, and the other one, the second term and the second term are combined, and this has a branch gain of -j. Because it's a 4-point DFT, and my branch gain becomes e to the power of -j. How do I get it? Here my branch gain is e to the power of -j 2 pi by 4. 2 pi by 4, which is -j. So that's how I have my diagram. So what we have done is we have tried to split. We have done, this is a diagram for n equal to 8. For n equal to 8. And then how many stages do we have now? How do we recognize n now? N is, in this case, n equal to 8. 8 is nothing but 2 to the power of 3. And hence, we have 3 stages in our representation of computing. And how many in the first stage we have all 2-point DFTs. In the second stage we have 2 4-point DFTs, and in the third stage we combine this 2 4-point DFTs into a single. So how is my input given, and how many multiplications? If you see here in stage 1, there is no multiplication at all. It is only x0 plus x4 or x0 minus x4. It's only addition and subtraction. There's absolutely no multiplications in the stage 1. In the second stage, we have 4 multiplications, because twice I'll be multiplying by -j, and here. So we have 4 multiplications in second stage. And in the last stage, again, if I take this branch, there is no multiplication. I have twice multiplying by gamma square, gamma cube. So essentially, I have 2, 4, 6. I mean here 6, and then here 4. So only 10 multiplications. So by doing 10 multiplications, I am able to compute. I have only 10 multiplications. 10 multiplications, I am able to compute an 8-point DFT. Compute an 8-point DFT. Instead of using 8 cross 8 is 64. So 64 multiplications I am able to reduce to this. But in general, so here we have a lot of branches with gain of 1. In general, if I have n, generalizing the above result, in general, if I have n, and n is given, say, 2 to the power of m, so I will have m stages, and each stage will have n multiplications. N multiplications. So the number of multiplication is going to be n into m, which is nothing but n into, this is nothing but log n base 2. So the number of multiplications gets reduced to n log n base 2. So for example, if I have, say, n as 32, if I do a normal DFT computation, my number of multiplications is going to be n square, or which is nothing but 32 square, which is 1024. Whereas if I how many stages will I have now? 32 is 2 to the power of 5. So instead of like how n equal to 8 we have 3 stages, we are going to have 5 stages. So m is equal to 5 now. 2 to the power of 5. So, and then how many multiplications I'll have? 5 into 32, which is 160. So we see the number of reduction in the computation. So if I have a processor which is going to compute an endpoint DFT using my normal method of creating a matrix of 32 cross 32, I'm going to have around 1024 multiplications, and there's going to be some computation time. On the other hand, if the same algorithm implements using this algorithm method where we have seen we have 5 stages and each is going to do a small computation, the signal just flows through the graph and I have only 160 multiplications. So that's a huge computational time saving when I use this method of cutting down and bringing them all to finally the first stage has only a computation of a 2-point DFT. So this is why it is known as the fast Fourier transform, because the algorithm gives the result fast, the computation time is reduced. So now here there's one more observation that we need to have, and here it is, okay, this is x3 and this is x7. So here my output is in sequence. How is my output coming? x0, x1, x2, x3 in a sequence, in order, natural order. How is my input? x0, x4, x2, x6, etc. And how do we remember this? So how many bits do I require for representing these elements? I need 3 bits. So what is x0? Is if I look in my, if this is 0, 0, 0, and let me first write my binary digits in an order 0, 0, 1. Then it is 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Then 1, 0, 0. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Now what is this? This is writing my natural sequence. This is my natural sequence. Now what if I change the order? Bit reversed order. If instead of 0, 0, 0, I reverse the bits. I still have 0, 0, 0. If I have, instead of having 0, 0, 1, I make it as 1, 0, 0. What I get? 4. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. If I bit reverse it, it remains as 2. 0, 1, 1, if I reverse the order, what happens? 1, 1, 0. What is 1, 1, 0? X6. Similarly, 1, 0, 0. What is 1, 0, 0? If I bit reverse it, it becomes 0, 0, 1. And what is 0, 0, 1? It is nothing but X1. 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, it is a 5. And 1, 1, 0, if I bit reverse it, it becomes 0, 1, 1. And what is 0, 1, 1? X3. And this is 1, 1, 1. I bit reverse it, remains as this. So what we find is the input to the algorithm is in the bit reversed order. We say the input is in the bit reversed order. Input is in the bit reversed order. So whenever I have a DIT FFT algorithm, if I have to compute a DIT FFT algorithm, what we observe is this is applicable for any n. So if I have to compute if I have an algorithm that does the computation of decimation in time, FFT algorithm, my input to the algorithm is in the bit reversed order. And the output is in natural order. And if n is equal to 2 to the power of m, the number of stages, we are going to have m stages, with the first stage being all 2-point DFT computations, and I'm going to have m stages. The last stage will have a single stage of 2n by 2 computations, and this is all based on the single equation that we got, wherein an n-point DFT can be represented by a suitable sum of the odd and the even. By suitable sum of odd and the even. This is odd. Sorry for that. And e to the power of minus j 2 pi k by n. So this is what our whole equation, our whole result is based on the single equation that we have just derived, wherein an n point DFT can be represented as a sum of two n by 2 point DFTs using this, and then each time we kept splitting the given sequence into even odd. We are able to extend it for any n which is a power of 2, and we are going to have m stages. The input to the algorithm is going to be in a bit reversed order, and the output we get in natural order. We'll take up one more example of computing the 8-point DFT using this. And how does this algorithm, how does this figure look like? This equation is translated into a beautiful diagram like this. And when I look at it, it looks like a butterfly. So this is also known as the butterfly diagram. It's actually a signal flow graph which takes the input signal through suitable computations and to arrive at the DFT of the given sequence. But this is also known as the butterfly diagram. Because when I put all these colors, it's only for doing 8-point decimation in time FFT algorithm. So let us first draw the signal flow graph for the 8-point DFT, having seen examples in the 4-point. Now we'll try to draw the signal flow graph and take up a specific example for an 8-point DFT. So let's attempt to draw the signal flow graph for the 8-point DIT FFT algorithm. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is my first stage. I need a second stage and then my third stage. So I have 3 stages. In the first stage, we know it is all a 2-point DFT computation. So this is my first stage. And so the 2-point DFT computation. So let's have this as my first stage output. The first stage output. And now these get processed by the second stage. So let's draw the second stage. Say this is my first figure in the second stage, first computation in the second stage. So the second stage involves the computation of 4-point DFTs. So let's take the second one. So this is what we have the second stage. So let's take the output of the second stage. And this is my so now I need to have the last stage computation, and which is going to be combining these two 4-point DFTs into a single computation. So let's do that. This is my one. Say this one, and next one. So we have the stages, 3 stages of computing the details. So the input to the sequence is not in order, and let us see what is the order in which we give the input. This is in the bit reversed order: x0, x2, x4, x6. Similarly here, x1, x3, x5, and x7. The bit reversed order, we give the input in the bit reversed order. The first stage, all the gains, branch gains are 1. In the second stage, we have this branch gain as gamma to the power of 0, which is a 1, and this is gamma, which is a minus j. So this branch has a gain of minus j. Similarly, here since they are 4-point DFTs, the branch gain is a minus j. And next here, the last stage, we have the first one as a branch gain as gamma to the power of 0, which is a 1. And this one has a branch gain of gamma. And this is here the branch gain is gamma square. And the last one, the branch gain is gamma cube. And let's write the output. The outputs are all going to be in sequence. This is the orange, and say the pink, and then the blue. And here my outputs are going to be in sequence. So I have my x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, and x7. They're all in sequence. The input is not in sequence. The output is in sequence. And what is our basic computation? Just to write it down for reference. Now here we have these branch gains we need to write. What is gamma? It's an 8-point DFT. So this is going to be e to the power of minus 2 pi by 8, and that is going to be 0.707 minus j 0.707. Then gamma square, the branch gain is e to the power of minus j 2 pi 2 by 8, and that is e power minus j pi by 2, which is a minus j. And gamma cube is going to be e to the power of minus j 2 pi 3 by 8, and which is minus 0.707 minus 0.707 j. And in general, a 2-point computation, we have it as suppose I have say this is A and B, and this has a gain of branch gain of W. The output is given by A plus WB, and this is A minus WB. Using this notation, we shall compute the 8-point DFT of a given sequence. So now let's take an example. So for that, this is a blank diagram, the basic signal flow graph for any 8-point computation. So we'll just take this and we'll try to solve a numerical example. So let's take an example. Let us take a sequence x of n. X of n, say 10, 1 minus j, 2 minus 2j, 3 minus 3j, say 5, 3 plus 3j, 4 plus 4j. No. This will be 2 plus 2j and 1 plus j. So I am taking a sequence with conjugate symmetry in my input sequence. So my input sequence has a conjugate symmetry, and I need to put my input in the bit reversed order. This is my x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, and x7. So let's start putting the values. My x of 0 is a 10. My x4 is a 5. Then x2 is a 2 minus 2j. And x6 is a 2 plus 2j. x1 is a 1 minus j. x5 is a 3 plus 3j. And x3 is a 3 minus 3j. And x7 is a 1 plus j. So this is what we have. Now let us try to compute the first one. So what is this branch here? Yes. So this is we know the computation. Here this is going to be 10 plus 5, that is a 15. 10 minus 5 is a 5. Next we have the sum of these two. So that is going to be a 4. And the difference of the two, that is going to be a minus 4j. And now this next one is going to be a sum. The sum, what's the sum? 2 plus 2j. The difference will be minus 2 and minus 1 minus 4. So minus 2 minus 4j. And here again the sum is going to be 4 minus 2j. And the difference is going to be 2 minus 4j. This is the computation of the first stage. So now let's go to the next stage. Let's compute this blue computation. So this is going to be 15 plus 4, that is 19, and 15 minus 4, that is 11. Here it is going to be 5 plus minus 4j into minus j. And so 5, let me try that. So this is going to be 5 plus minus 4j into minus j, my branch gain. So that is going to be 5 plus j square minus 1 minus, so 5 minus 4, that is going to be a 1. So this is going to be 5 minus 4, that's a 1. And similarly here, this will be 5 minus 4j into minus j, that is going to be 5 minus, so 5 plus 4, that's going to be a 9. Similarly, now let us try to compute here. This is going to be, branch gain is 1, so sum of the two, so 2 plus 4 is 6. So this is going to be 4 2 plus 2. Did I go wrong here? And this is 3 plus 1. Sorry, this is a 4. This is 4 plus 2j. Yeah. So now let me add up here. Here I'm going to get 4 plus 2j and 4 minus 2j. So 4 plus 4, when I add it, I get it at 8. And here when I take the subtraction, this minus this, I'm going to get 2j minus of minus. So that is going to give me 4j. And here the next term, here I'm going to have this term as minus 2 minus 4j. So this is going to be minus 2 minus 4j plus 2 minus 4j into a minus j. So when I do this, this is going to be minus 6 minus 6j and this is going to give me similarly 2 minus 2j. We can check this computation, and the next term will be the same, 2 minus 2 minus 4j minus 2 minus 4j into minus j. This is what we get, these terms. So now the last stage to get x of 0, I need to consider this. So 19 plus 8, and that is going to be 27. And this is going to be 19 minus 8, and that is going to be 11. And next, this is going to be 1 plus x1. How do I get x1? 1 plus minus 6 minus j into gamma. So I am going to get x1 as x1 is given by 1 plus minus 6 minus 6j into gamma, and that when we evaluate we will get it as 1 minus 6 root 2, and that is going to be minus 7.5. So that's why I will get x1 as minus 7.5. Similarly, x2, if I want to compute, it is going to be 11 plus 4j into gamma square. Gamma square is a minus j. So that is going to give me 11 plus 4, and that is going to be 15. That is 15. And the other one, x of 5, and this x of 6. So 11 minus 4, that is going to be 7. And similarly, the x1, x5 is going to be the other one, x5. Similar from x1, so similarly x5 is going to be 1 minus 6 minus 6j into gamma, and that is going to be 1 plus 6 root 2, and that is approximately 9.5. So I have my x5 as 9.5. Now the next, there's one more term to be computed, x3. x3 is 9 plus 2 minus 2j into gamma cube, and that when we evaluate we will get it as 9 minus, let's write it, x3 is going to be 9 plus x3 is going to be 9 plus 2 minus 2j into gamma cube, and this turns out to be 9 minus 2 root 2, and that is around 6.2. And this is what we have, x3 as 6.2, and similarly when we compute x7 we'll get it as 11.8. x7 is very similar to x7 is going to be very similar to x3 computation, but with the minus sign. So x7 is going to be 9 minus 2 minus 2j into gamma cube, and that is going to be 9 plus 2 root 2, and that is going to be 11.8. So this is what 11.8. 11.8. So that's how we get. Yeah, please come in. So finally, we have computed the 8-point DFT of this sequence. And let's see, why did we take a complex sequence? The reason I took a input sequence with complex conjugate symmetry is so that my final result of x0 is going to be real. And this is what we have now. This is my input sequence that was given. So what's my input sequence? This is my input sequence. So let's take this. So finally, we have the result. This is the input sequence. And for this sequence, when we have computed the corresponding 8-point DFT, what we got is 27 minus 7.5, 15, 6.2, 11, 9.5, 7, and 11.8. So let's just cross check the result with MATLAB if our result is right. So we have taken a sequence 10, 1 minus j and so on. So let's verify the result with MATLAB. So I have my xn as 10, 1 minus j, 2 minus 2j, 3 minus 3j, 5, then 3 plus 3j, 2 plus 2j, 1 plus j. This is my input sequence. I have taken the input sequence with complex conjugate symmetry so that my result is going to be real. And then I compute my DFT of xn, an 8-point DFT, and let's see the result. It's 27 minus 7.5, 15, 6.17, 11. So we have the result as 27 minus 7.48, 15, 6.17, 11, 9.48, 7, and 11.8. I think we have got the same result. So minus 7.48, 15, 6.17, and so from MATLAB, our results are, it's the same, only thing we have approximated in representing the numbers, and so we have got slightly round 7.48, 15, 6.17, 11, 9.48, 7, and 11.8. So we get the same result. So this is we have just seen how to compute an 8-point DFT. So similarly, I can take any other sequence and try to take my signal through the signal flow graph, and we can get the 8-point FFT computation. So we have seen the decimation in time FFT computation. So my input to the algorithm in this case is in the bit reversed order, and my output of the sequence is in natural order. And what we are computing is just a discrete Fourier transform with an efficient method, and the number of multiplications is n times the number of stages, which is nothing but log n base 2. So if I consider my n is equal to 8, and now I have 8 into number of stages, log n base 2 is 3, so 8 3s are 24 multiplications using this method. Whereas if we had used the direct method of computation, the DFT algorithm, I would have got n square multiplications, which is 64 multiplications. So though we started off with an example of a 2-point, a 4-point DIT FFT algorithm, and we have extended to the 8-point DIT FFT algorithm. On a similar method, we can extend it to 16 points. So 16 point is going to have 4 stages, 16 point, 32 points. So we can extend this method of computation for any n, which is a power of 2. The moment I have n as a power of 2, I can apply this method of computing the discrete DFT, the discrete Fourier transform, which is going to be give me the result, but with much less number of multiplications. That's an efficient method of computing, and it's valid only for n being a power of 2. So in the next module, we shall try to take up the other method of computation, and which is the DIT FFT algorithm. So in the next module, we shall take up the method of computing the discrete Fourier transform using the decimation in frequency FFT algorithm. The decimation